make a quick tutorial on how to create a digital worksheet from an existing worksheet using PowerPoint. The first thing you need to do is click on Design, then Slide Size, and you'll want to change this to 8.5 by 11. So now you'll see we have a vertical page. I'm going to delete these title boxes off of here. Now what I want to do is I want to make the background of this slide the worksheet that I am creating. In this case, I'm using a notes page that I created. So I have this notes page, this guided notes page to go along with our scientific method unit. And the first thing that I've already done, but I'm going to save it as a PDF. That gets rid of all of these grammar lines and other things that may be highlighted along the way because of the way I formatted it. So now I'm going to open that up as a PDF. Here we go. Now I'm going to make this full screen. When it's full screen, you can see the entire page. What I'll do now is take a screenshot of this. On a MacBook, you can hit Command-Shift-4 and it will pop up a cursor for you to take a screenshot. If you are on a Windows computer, you can use Snipping Tool and it will do basically the same thing. So there's my cursor. And I don't need all these margins on the side, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit to where the text is. And I'll take just that area. Go to the back side. I'll do the same. Take a screenshot. Make sure I get everything in it that I want. Perfect. Okay. Now I'll escape out of that. Press escape. Go back to my page. The first thing, or I should say the next thing, go to Format Background, Picture or Texture Fill, and I'm going to insert that screenshot that I just took. I'll go to Recents, and next to last should be the first page. There we are. And then I'm going to insert another slide. We'll just leave it blank. And I'm going to format this background with a picture, and I'll use the back page of the notes. That should be the last one that I took. Okay, there we go. Now you'll notice this cut off a little bit of my page at the top because the screenshot that I took must not have been exactly this, the proportions for this rectangle shape. So you have these offset buttons here at the side, and if there we go back to 0 for those. Sometimes it automatically does that, sometimes it doesn't, it just depends. It's trying to auto format the shape of the picture to the background of the slide, and if it's not exactly proportional, it may try to correct for that. So I can even go beyond that if I wanted to and give myself a little bit of room on those edges using those offset buttons. But I think that's fine. I like giving my students as much room to do their work as possible. So now the students will not be able to go in and change this notes page. They can't go in and get rid of step 4 and say, well, I didn't know that, it wasn't there. Yes, it was. If they go in and change the background, it will delete the entire thing, and they definitely are not going to want to do that. So now the question is, well, how do they edit this? How do they fill in these spaces? All I'm going to do is simply insert a text box, and I will format it down to the size I need. Now you and the students, when they have this, can zoom in. Okay, so let's zoom into about that size. I'm going to write type here. When I type things in my digital resources, I always make them a blue color. That's a cue to the students that it's something they need to edit. Now, if you have older students or more capable students, they may be able, you could teach them how to insert their own text box over these blanks. If you want to, I could copy and paste that whole thing over and over again, and then they can just click and change the text when they're filling in the page. And I can do that for every blank. I know that takes a little bit of time, but since you're copying, pasting, it's not bad. Now the students, when they're doing this, if say there's a blank that they have and they need a little bit of extra space, they can make their text box larger or smaller. They can make their font larger or smaller to fit. There's lots of options. As a teacher, if you know that a particular area is going to need more space, you could go ahead and on this text, I could go ahead and make that a smaller size because I might know that they're going to need more room there for the answer. So now, when the students open up this PowerPoint resource, this is what they'll see. They can edit only the areas that you've allowed them to. And then once they're done filling in their answers, then they can save it and they will remain on the page for them to refer back to. You can always print these slides. That way you have a physical copy or your students have a physical copy. And of course, you'll have this digital resource that can be shared. I hope that was helpful for you.